The Houston Rockets are on the board, finally winning a game against the Golden State Warriors. And there's a lot to do about Stephen Curry and his poor shooting. He has been shooting poorly in this series, but we also got to take into effect that he does have an injured, or he had a dislocated middle finger on his non-shooting hand, which could also affect how he's catching the ball and getting into his shooting motion. Because when you're a shooter, any little thing on your shooting hands can throw off the motion, the accuracy of what you're doing. But the thing that caught me most that was very funny was the fact that people were upset or really going in on Stephen Curry for missing that dunk when they were down by 5 points. That dunk would have made them down by 3. Then they could possibly foul. As you notice, the Warriors did not foul, thus telling you that they didn't think they had a chance to win down the stretch of that game, foul or no foul, because you would have to put James Harden and CP3 on the line because they weren't going to get the ball to Clint Capella. I think they took him out at the end of the game. They didn't have that all good free throw shooters on the court. Therefore, there was no real reason to really crucify Steph for missing the dunk because that wasn't going to do much of anything because Houston had their best free throw shooters. If they made one, it would have been over anyway. So what I took away from that game, most importantly, while Harden had like 41, KD at 46, Steph and Klay definitely have to step up. People are making a lot more fuss about their shooting woes than it actually is. I mean, they're up 2-1 with their shooting woes, and they almost won Game 3 in Houston. Honestly, if you really think about it, if Steph doesn't foul Harden, Harden goes up try to do a tricky layup. Either he makes it, or most likely it looks like he would have missed it because he was looking for the foul. And that's the key to the series. It's just foul trouble for the Golden State Warriors. It's foul trouble. If they can keep all 5 of their guys on the court as much as possible without foul trouble, they're gonna win all the rest of the games. The problem comes is when Steph keeps reaching and stuff like that, and Klay gets in foul trouble. They pick up ticky-tack fouls, and Chris Paul's throwing his head, James Harden throwing his head. So that's all it boils down to. It's just foul trouble for the Golden State Warriors. Houston, like I said before, it's going to be a reveal game, and they revealed that they had some good heart. They played hard. I think that's one of the key things that a lot of people get confused. Sometimes if you just play harder than the other team, you will win the game. You saw that. Like, even though some shots weren't falling and stuff like that, they played hard enough and they got it to overtime. Because to me, the game was wrapped when Andre Iguodala hit that second three, 112 to 110. Like I said before, Steph fouls and that throws everything off. So the Golden State Warriors, they should feel like they're in good shape. Steph and Klay aren't going to have all these struggle games going forward. One of them might, but the other one definitely will not trust and believe that because those guys are professional shooters. Philadelphia 76ers and Toronto Raptors. Philly should have won that game due to the fact that the Toronto Raptors had 4 or 5 bench players that had 0 points. Fred VanVleet, 0. Like, all these guys that were supposed to come up in the clutch had 0 points. Kyle Lowry had 11 points. Kawhi Leonard was the only guy that showed up, but what was great about Kawhi is he controlled the game, and that's what the Sixers are missing. While Ben Simmons is their virtuoso point guard, he doesn't control the game like a Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard has learned that through Greg Popovich and through his tutelage. That being said, Philly missed a big opportunity to really close out the Toronto Raptors. I mean, it seemed like they were getting things going. JJ Redick was going. Even after, you remember, Toronto jumped out to an early 10, 11-point lead, and Philly weathered the storm. But now you're going back to the Toronto Raptors have regained home court advantage. You're going back to Toronto. Then you'll have to come back to Philly. A lot of pressures on, the Philadelphia 76ers. Right now, Toronto, they're figuring a few things out, and they came out with the proper energy and the fight. They had a lot of fight in them, while the 76ers did not. And you didn't see Joel Embiid celebrating as much as he was prior. And Joel looks like he's a little gassed too, somewhat. So Philly's going to have to figure out a way to control the game, control the matchups, because if they don't, what's going to happen is the Toronto Raptors are going to suffocate the life out of you, and they're going home. Their role players play better at home. So Philly's in a lot of trouble because you go down 3-2, and then you come back home. You start playing a little desperation basketball. Some of JJ Redick's shots don't fall. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. Final series I want to talk about is the Portland Trailblazers versus the Denver Nuggets. These two teams are evenly matched, guys. They came off a quadruple overtime, and while it seemed like at halftime the Trailblazers were gonna walk off with the game, didn't happen. This is like as a guard oriented series. Lillard and McCollum versus Harris and Murray. And one of the things is like when Murray's scoring 30 plus points, they're really in the series. They're close to winning games because Jokic is racking up a bunch of triple doubles. I think the key for Portland though to win the series is they're gonna have to find a way to A, keep Jokic off the boards, chip rebound him, or B, force him to be a scorer. Like Jokic is facilitating so much of Denver's offense. You have to find a way to slow him down where you play some solid defense on him. I don't think Cantor is playing enough solid defense on him. Maybe you should put a Aminu on him, but he's too skinny. But Cantor is just not doing it, or their scheme is not doing it. Therefore, they're gonna have to really find a way to slow down Jokic, make him turn over the ball more. You saw Portland win 2 games when Jokic was turning over the ball. For Denver, they're in good shape. They have a lot of confidence in the fact that they can win at home. They won on Portland's home floor, even after emotional letdown or emotional game, quadruple overtime. So Denver's feeling like they're in really good shape. They have home court advantage. So for Portland, they just have to figure out a way to slow down Jokic or get him in foul trouble. One thing that worked for them in the quadruple overtime is putting Jokic in the pick and roll. Whoever a man Jokic was guarding, he came and set the screen. So I think they should go back to that a lot more instead of a lot of passive one-on-one play and stuff like that. I know Damian Lillard is a playmaker, but the thing is, Portland doesn't have enough guys to finish plays besides Damian and CJ McCollum. So that being said, they really need to attack Jokic, get him in foul trouble, attack him on the defensive end as well. Like throw some different schemes at him, get him to turn the ball over, throw a double here and there, and the double has to come from the opposite end. It can't come directly, which has led to a lot of open threes for the Denver Nuggets. Hoops Junction, where hoops means hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.